under one umbrella.
You still have the Arewa Consultative Forum. They also sit and decide what will happen.
No, that is just regional association. Like you are talking about Odua,
Afenifere.
So that one are not going to last long because it's all because of selfish interest or biasness. Because a lot of them are looking for what they are going to eat. They are not concerned about Nigeria, about Yoruba or this and that. And when you are talking about the East, you have seen what people are not doing. They are not listening to those elders anymore. So we are now going to talk about, that is why it's been splitted to different regions. Nigeria, we have about 6 regions right now. And with that region, we can be able to, we can be able to define some things.
In a nation like Nigeria, as diverse and complex as Nigeria, the question of who gets what, when, and how has never been far from the center of political discourse. From the principle of federal character enshrined in the Constitution to the unwritten but deeply influential practice of zoning, the pursuit of fairness has often shaped leadership choices and power rotation across regions. But beyond the politics, what has zoning truly achieved? Has it strengthened unity or quietly deepened divisions? This is the big story. On today, we're going to examine a lot of things. And the topic is between fairness and federal character, the real impact of zoning in Nigeria. Samson Balogun is my name, and thank you for joining us. Zoning was conceived as a stabilizing tool, an informal arrangement designed to ensure that no region or group feels perpetually excluded from power. So in theory, it promotes inclusion and national balance. In practice, however, it raises tough questions about merit, competence, and the long-term health of Nigeria's democracy. Some people say putting the right peg in the right hole. As debates intensify ahead of the future elections, 2027 is almost here, and with the political actors increasingly invoking zoning as both a shield and as a weapon, Nigeria left with wonder. Is zoning still serving its original purpose? Or has it become a convenient political bargaining chip? And to help us unpack these issues, we are joined by APC chieftain, Honorable Omolaja Olaoye, a respected voice in governance and public affairs. He will shed light on the real impact of zoning, its promises, its pitfalls, and what it means for the future of Nigeria as a country. Thank you for joining us on today's edition of The Big Story. Honorable Omolaja Olaoye, good to have you here once again.
Samson, thanks for having me here today. I'm very grateful. And we are home, who are watching and listening to us, I say good morning and thanks to you.
Zoning in Nigeria has become more of a shield and sometimes a tool for some political gladiators in the country. It is the turn of the Southwest. It is the turn of the Northwest. It is the turn of the Northeast, or maybe sometimes the Southeast, the South-South, and the North-Central too. They will come and say, look, it is our turn. Now, some people have argued that this has eroded competence. It has left a void where Nigeria sometimes puts the wrong pegs in the right holes. Now, as a political analyst, as an observer of Nigeria's politics from republics from behind to this current dispensation of democracy in Nigeria, would you say zoning is more of a problem than a solution?
I wouldn't say it's more of a problem than a solution. And zoning is not entrenched in our constitution. We have to know that. What is entrenched in our constitution is a principle of federal character. So which that one is well well, it's well acceptable, and it is really ideal for this kind of egalitarian society we are. I'm talking about Nigeria as a whole. But when you are talking about zoning, yes, that one is very good as well. At least it solves a lot of problems. When you are talking about when a certain region is dominion, can be domineering the political space, it is good the way it conceived by the politicians who are now doing it. I think it can be imbibed, but still, it is not something that is acceptable among all the political parties, because we must make it to be a political party like what our electoral bill who says each political party must let the people know where they zone their presidential candidate to, which is very, very, very good if that one can be entrenched in the well entrenched in the constitution, and it's not going to be something that is going to be challenged in court of law.
Now, the reason I asked you that question is because in history, we have had cases of where zoning has caused issues. One, it is zoning within the political party. They call that internal democracy. And again, after that, it is zoning when it comes to the national level. Oh, we want to have the president. Which region is it coming from? We want to have the Senate president. Where is it going to come from? And these are issues that we have had to face in Nigeria. And are there solutions? And let me go through times and situations where Nigeria has had to go through issues of zoning. There was a PDP crisis in 2010/2011 after the death of former President Umar Musa Yar'Adua. And the unwritten PDP zoning arrangement, which rotated power between North and South, was disrupted when his Vice President, Goodluck Jonathan, from the South, took over and decided to contest in 2011. This move split the PDP at that time, and the fallout weakened party cohesion and led to defections that reshaped Nigeria's political landscape till this moment. Also, in 2023, before 2023 general election, there was a PDP battle ahead of the election, and one of the most divisive zoning crises in recent history. Many party members insisted the presidency should return to the South after Muhammadu Buhari had 8 years in the North. However, the PDP ticket went to Atiku Abubakar. This triggered the G5 governors' rebellion, led by Nyesom Wike, Okeze Ikpeazu, Seyi Makinde of Oyo State, and Samuel Otom of Benue. They all had their own issues at that time against the PDP, and some of them had to work against the party, which further caused more problems in the PDP. And also, the APC tension prior to the 2023 presidential primaries. Even with the ruling party, APC zoning created friction. There was strong agitation that power must shift to the South after Buhari. Northern aspirants initially showed interest, causing tension in the party. And the eventual emergence of Bola Ahmed Tinubu from the Southwest calmed some nerves, but not without internal resentment, allegations of imposition, quiet compromises within the party, and some other issues. And also, in Odo governorship in 2016, zoning dispute played out in the APC in Ondo too. And some people, it caused fragmentation in the party, legal battles, and defection. That was when the issue, the passing of the then governor, Rotimi Akeredolu, who passed away, and then his deputy had to come on board. But then, the emergence of Rotimi Akeredolu led to protests too, even before that, and from other factions. Questions arose over which senatorial district should produce the governor, even before then. Now, if you are going to go on and on and on, a lot of issues like this when it comes to zoning. But this is an unwritten law in Nigeria. It is not enshrined in any of the constitutions that we have to zone to this part of the country. But oftentimes it has created a problem. Another issue I want to point out to you before I ask you this question is because when the PDP ruled for 16 years, okay, they had their fair share of issues. When the APC came on board, they had to go with the flow and say, look, the PDP had the last president from Sozo region. So once the APC is coming on board, they have to have their president coming from another region. And that might likely affect the most popular candidates in that political party. Should Nigeria now sit down and decide which is the best way to go. Yes, you mentioned federal character, which is enshrined in Nigerian Constitution, which works more when you talk about civil service and recruitment. But then, when it comes to elective positions, what would have been the best way to sort out the issue of zoning, federal character, and some other minor issues that you have had to solve in your political party?
I think this problem is going to be continued until, like you said, it is well defined. Because we can see that what happened in 2022, 23 was because that's the problem. When a political party zones their president candidate, it's easy for the other political party to hijack it and put it somewhere else where there's going to be popular candidate. Like Atiku would have won the election, assuming Peter Obi is with him if he didn't leave PDP and go to any other party, because they are going to use the strength of the North, and for the fact that predominantly ordinary Northerners will believe that, people, they are going to vote for, they are going to vote for their people. So I think that is wrong. I think Bola Ahmed Tinubu won by whisker, and it shouldn't be that like a rotely, that is going to be like a gamble. It shouldn't be like that. Some party will be taking the advantage of the other in order to be able to be hijacking the party system. Mind you, PDP have been using Northerners for a very long time. Apart from Chief Obasanjo that came there just by gambling in order to pacify this Southwest. That is why they put Obasanjo there. Obasanjo was not a politician. And we will not see that one is not even acceptable within the Southwest, because the Southwest never voted for Obasanjo. They voted to AD and ANPP, that is Olufalaye. Now, after that, Goodluck Jonathan just got there again by luck. It wasn't intended. So it was because of the death of Yar'Adua. But PDP have always tried as much as possible, because they believe is another political party and they must be using advantage of it. And it shouldn't be. There must be clear-cut case, and there must be a kind of resolution or a kind of law that is passed if they really want to do it like zoning. But what brought the federal character in the first instance? You can see that First Republic is predominantly the so-called people from the south and southeast. And when you see, it is only Tafawa Balewa, and that was because it was a prime minister. The head of the president of Nigeria, whether ceremonial president was Nnamdi Azikiwe. And you are talking about, again, you are going to talk about the Senate president. His name is Dennis something. He came from from up there as well, who are even a Christian. What about the chief of armed staff? He was a Christian, Agudosi. What about the Nigerian police? He was from that place as well, from the south. So Yoruba doesn't even complain. The Yoruba people doesn't even complain. They didn't complain at all. And the funny part of it is that these people who collide together in the center, even, in a way, disrupted the political system in the southwest. But what about in the Second Republic, when you are talking about Shehu Shagari? Shehu Shagari as a president. We have the Senate president, that is, what's it called? Joseph Wayas. We have the speaker, who is from in order to pacify people from that region, south and southeast. Yoruba are just giving the party chairman, which hasn't got any power. You might say he has power on
within the political party.
Within his political
and
party.
Not in governance.
And not other political party as well. Yoruba were surcharged, but we never complained. So it was that 1979 that they introduced the principle of federal character, which is not what entrenched on 1996. Still, because with this, and now you see other regions complaining. When Jonathan was there, all the powerful ministry was being controlled by the south and southeast. It was only the junior minister, despite the fact that federal character has been made to be law
in Nigeria.
Now,
let me ask you this question. Just as you mentioned Goodluck Jonathan, should at any point, should competence ever be sacrificed for what you call regional balance?
It depends on how you are going to be talking about the competence. We have seen a professor that head educational ministry, and you see people who are the elite of the educationalists that are even condemning, like Aborishadi. They were saying he was not competent. They were saying he probably was a second class or this and that. What is first class has to do with governance? It shouldn't be like that. We always base everything on education all the time, and it shouldn't be. You just have to be literate. People that govern us, that even our pre-colonial master, a lot of them were probably do this kind of hard work. They might be carpenter, they might be bricklayer, they might be this, but they are literate. They know how to read and write. Those things, a lot of things must be based on acceptability, and it is not decision making is not fiat. Even when you are talking about corporate world, everybody sit down together and have to formulate a policy, and they have to even sit down and know what is need to be done. All else have to gather together. That is what is being done when you are talking about when you want to sit down for in the all the ministry with the president. They sit down and they juggernaut and formulate whatever that is good for the Nigeria. So when you are talking about the competent, it is very hard to design. I mean, it is very hard to be able to know who is more competent until that person get there. That is when you are going to know whether it's competent or not.
When should we now strike a balance between meritocracy and equitable representation in leadership selection?
Meritocracy. Okay, we are going. Let's talk about.
So are you saying in Nigeria now we don't have a yardstick to measure?
There's no yardstick to measure it.
Or competence.
Let's talk about when you are talking about literacy.
Because I see you have tried to narrow it down to education. But are there other ways we can now measure competence and meritocracy?
What I'm saying is that it is not education. I'm not measuring it. I'm talking about literacy. Where you know how to read and write. That is why in our constitution, you don't need to be a professor or a PhD holder before you can be. Yes, as much as you know how to read and write. That is why it is meaning of school certificate education. Now, let's talk about then when we are having Western region, when we are having Northern region, when we are having Eastern region. I will tell you, to my own knowledge, Awolowo is the least that has this certificate because it did correspondent. Like Nnamdi Azikiwe, like you are talking about Tafawa Balewa or what's it called? Emir of the Northern region leader. They went to the best school in Britain. You are talking about Elton College. Awolowo doesn't have the privilege, but his government is the best then because he was able to. Introduce a lot of ideological things that we are seeing as things of heritage right now. It was at least he has to study by himself. He educated himself by himself. We even have the story of when he was having problem of education, he went to Odutola and he was not helped. Awolowo was not helped. But he was still the best man. He wrote a lot of books and every of his work is being imitated right now. People look to be like Awolowo, not like any other person. That is why I'm saying to you, it is not going to be measured by education. Education is the best. Don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, let's talk about literacy. When you know how to read and write. So a lot of people are not going to be social.
So in practical terms, how can we, can Nigeria politics actually work without zoning?
Nigeria can work without zoning. When you are talking about the competence and general acceptability.
How rowdy would that be?
It might be rowdy. It's not being rowdy because we have a lot of presidential candidates. All people look up to are whether PDP, whether APC. And the kind of problem they are having in PDP has even decimated PDP right now. We are talking about any other party. And for you to know that our so-called politicians, sometimes they don't have any ideology. They are just desperate to be in the power and be eating our cake. You can see what is going on in ADC right now. They must be able to put their house in order. They must be able to plan this very well. There are lawyers among them. There are justices among them. There are a lot of people that are competent that can be able to study the law. And mind you, when we are having this, is it third or fourth republic, when they started with PDP, ADR, why do you think they have to introduce, have the service of somebody like Bolagi, who wrote the constitution of AD, wrote the constitution of PDP, and so many other parties? Because he was knowledgeable. What our lawyers and our justice are now doing is either those politicians who are so arrogant and full of themselves doesn't want to listen to them. They would not have been in this quagmire and meet ADC. So,
if you check the last elections in Nigeria, would you say zoning has been respected or manipulated?
Zoning does not even occur because people voted according to the way they want to vote. Like I said,
let me now limit it down to political parties. Let's not talk about Nigeria as a complex case. Let's talk about the APC, the PDP. Would you say in the last few elections in Nigeria, maybe the last 3 or 4 elections in Nigeria since the last republic, have we truly respected zoning, or we have been able to manipulate or bypass the zoning?
We have been bypassing the zoning. We have manipulated the zoning because last time Ashwila Tinubu contested under APC, a lot of people from the north challenged him, and they didn't get the required vote. A lot of people from the southeast does as well, because it was about south and the north.
Is zoning to be respected? Now that we have zoning, is it only to be respected by political parties or even Nigerians?
I think the kind of law that must be made, that it must be respected by all political parties. But why I'm saying it is going to be difficult, because it is going to be negate what is being what our conscience says, because our conscience says anybody is free to contest or is free to contest or be elected or to participate in election. Now, it doesn't talk about ethnicity when we are talking about zoning, because it's going to be divided by ethnicity, whether you are Yoruba, whether you are Hausa, whether you are Igbo, and it should not be designed by religion. So I think zoning cannot be entrenched in the Nigerian constitution. All we have to accept is that anybody that is competent must be able to be elected or elect someone he likes or he desired.
Now, if we now check Nigeria as a country, obviously, some would say, oh, we have maybe 3 regions or maybe 3 languages, which is Hausa, Igbo, and Yoruba. But by statistics, Nigeria has over 250 ethnic groups, tribes, if you want to call it that way. Other notable groups including Tiv, Ibibio, Ijo, Nupe, Wari, and many more. And when you talk about languages, as of today, some say we have over 500 languages. Some say maybe 520 or thereabouts. It has not been ascertained. But 3 major languages are being considered, which means that some other regions are being shortchanged when it comes to zoning. And how do you think Nigeria as a country can strike a balance going forward? And what are the key things the government should be looking at to make sure that Nigeria is on the right pedestal going into elections?
I think we just have to be managing it the way it is right now, because it was because of
how
the complexity.
How long will we continue to manage?
No, we just have to be managing it until we sort what is that it is happening between our domain right now. Because when you are talking about when people want to vote, they don't vote according to the kind of language you speak. That is why you have to see who started this confederation of meeting of regional meeting. It was from the north. Despite the fact that we have northwest, north central, northeast, we have them like that, and still, when they want to do a kind of alliance, they will come under the umbrella of Northern Governors Forum, and they wouldn't mind the language. They know they have the diverse language. They know they have the diverse religion. And they are still going to come under one umbrella.
You still have the Arewa Consultative Forum. They also sit and decide what will happen.
No, that is just regional association. like you are talking about Odua,
Afenifere in the Southwest.
So that one are not going to last long because it's all because of selfish interest or biasness. Because a lot of them are looking for what they are going to eat. They are not concerned about Nigeria, about Yoruba or this and that. And when you are talking about the East, you have seen what people are not doing. They are not listening to those elders anymore. So we are now going to talk about, that is why it's been splitted to different regions. Nigeria, we have about 6 regions right now. And with that region, we can be able to, we can be able to define some things. And when a lot of position is going to be splitted within the political party, they always use that region to be able to divide any position they are going to get in the party. I will talk about APC, I don't know about PDP. But all well and good, no matter how many religions we have, we are coming under the umbrella of probably you are Yoruba, probably you are Hausa, probably you are Igbo. And mind you, it is Yoruba that have some common things among themselves. When you are talking about Hausa, some people are going to say I'm Hausa, some people are going to say I'm Fulani. Still, you can see that it is Fulani that is controlling northern region more. And they don't talk about Fulani, they talk about Hausa, and they have never been feeling offended. But when you are talking about Igbo, some people will tell you I'm not an Igbo man, I'm from Niger Delta. And if you see a Yoruba man that is going to tell you he's not a Yoruba man. Even if he's from Benin, he will tell you, he will probably say I'm a Yoruba. If he's a Gun, he would probably tell you I'm a Yoruba.
So is it safe to say that in Nigeria today, the Southwest has been the unifying factor?
It has been. That is why we don't complain many of the time. And a lot of things is coming to our side. By virtue, it is natural. You can see how Asiwaju spring up. We never knew we are going to have somebody like Asiwaju. We thought all we are going to have last is going to be like somebody like Alewolowo. Because the man is tolerant. So now, I keep telling people, see what happened in a place like United States of America. Who knew the different other ethnic group, other race are about 10%. Others are white. And you can see that Obama emerged as a president. And he won. Nobody thinks that can happen in the next 1,000 years. And talking about United States of UK as well, even if Kevin Badno, whether he become prime minister or not, nobody knew somebody of Nigerian origin who was brought up in Nigeria because of these race bias. Color segregation. Kevin Badno can be able to be on that seat. And she has been challenged, she has been criticized, she has been condemned so many times. And we have never seen in the history of United States of United Kingdom, we see that kind of opposition so stiff and so challenging. And she is so good at that seat, on that seat. It depends on whether people are going to vote for him or not. But she is becoming popular every day. Now, that is for you to know that by the time we are talking about zoning, let everybody go to the field. And eventually, somebody better is going to be coming, because whether we like it or not, zoning cannot be included in our Nigerian constitution because the race and ethnicity, religion has make it to be a sort of biased system.
So if you are saddled with that responsibility to restructure or maybe tamper with the Nigerian constitution and make some changes, what would you do about zoning?
Zoning is dead of arrival. It is ideological thing. It cannot be entrenched in the constitution, like I said, because when you are talking about United States, United Nations chapter, who says we have freedom of association, we have freedom of religion, we should not be judged by our color. It has negated that zoning system. Things must come naturally, even if none are going to rule for 1,000 years. Assuming we are getting Nigeria along, it's only the politicians that divide a lot of things. They were the one that divide things.
Don't you think if there is no zoning system, some minority ethnic groups will be sidelined for a very long time?
I know. The accusation in Oyo State
happy
about
with that?
The accusation in Oyo State about Ogun. If Ogun get it, Ogbonso are going to demand for it. or you are going to demand for it? What about the Barakpa are going to demand for it?
Should we now start with Ibadan?
We have to, all we need to do is that, like I said to some people, we have the best in the Barakpa, we have the best in Okiogun, we have the best in Ogbomoso, but for people to come down, it takes heart of a lion.
Are you against the Okiogun agitation?
I am not against Okiogun agitation. It's the best we can have. But what I'm saying to you is that even in Ibadan, among all the players that are out now, we have the best who are so timid, who are so afraid of coming out.
Barrister Sharafaddin Ali Senator Sharafaddin Ali went to Okiogun and told them that the agitation to present a candidate for the gubernatorial election in Oyo State, that is not there yet or time, and he wants to be truthful with them. And that was met with a lot of resentment by the elders in Okiogun. Do you think that might just affect the chances of the APC going into the election?
It is obvious. Others are going to be asked that question as well. And it was not the one that is on the race. We have Okiogun people on the race as well. We have been having Okiogun coming out.
Some say Sharafaddin Ali is your anointed candidate in the APC.
It is, no. You see, the problem we are now having is that I am not contesting to be a governor. If others, like we said, like it's been said about whether direct primary or it's going to be consensus, if other people agreed, there is no problem. But you know, in politics, even if others are going to agree, they are going to promise them something. That is the problem. Because they are going to exercise their fundamental human right, and they are going to go out there and procure that form and be able to contest or try themselves. You see, the problem we are having is that we still lack that internal democracy.
Even without a clear figure to be your candidate in the APC come 2027, how strong is, in 30 seconds, how strong are your chances, the APC, going to that election?
If we put our house in order, if we allow others to be able to show their interest and to be able to put themselves into the hand of the members of the party, if we can get whomever we want to become our gubernatorial candidate, I think we are going to defy anybody that is coming in PDP or any party and Jashimakini is going. But if some people, if they have to impose people on the political party, I think as a member, I will do my right. What about others? It's going to be difficult because there is a lot of infighting in house right now.
All right, thank you, Honorable Amola Jaolawi, for joining us on the show this morning.
Thank you.
It has been a wonderful session with you. Now, as the conversation continues across the country, one thing remains clear. The balance between fairness and competence is delicate. And Nigeria must find a way to uphold both without sacrificing progress. Whether zoning remains a necessary tool for unity or evolves into something more refined will depend on the choices made by leaders and citizens alike. Many thanks to Honorable Amola Jaolawi for his insights on today's big story. Join us as we continue to ask the big questions on this show, and we'll take on another issue shaping our nation's future. I am Samson Balogun. Stay informed, stay engaged, and keep the conversation going. Up next is Trend Watch.